Hey guys, how's it going? Make sure you tell me whether or not you can hear me okay. Going to be doing a little hash rate testing tonight and actually getting it set up. Basically showing you how I set things up and such. Right now I am running LOL miner on my LHR rig. But anyway, like I said, let me know if you guys can hear me. Again, my name is Max Voltage. And just like tinkering like most of the rest of you. So let me get started here. And first of all, create the flight sheet. I'm just going to modify it from here. Edit. NB minor. And then instead of doing the latest, oh, hold on a second. I know it's in here. I've seen it. Let's do a refresh. Now it should be there. Edit. NB minor. Set it up. There it is, 39.6. And that should do it. Everything on this rig is an LHR card. And let me go ahead and apply those changes. Well, actually, before I do that, it didn't take long. Before I do that, let me get a snapshot of my current hash rates with LOL miner. And that way, I've got them. How you doing, CC? Good to see you. Good to see you, Anonymous Miner. Sorry, I actually timed out JTree. It was, I don't, we all have our political views. And let's just say I don't like to talk about them in my streams. Anyway, we'll leave it at that. So JTree, after 300 seconds, if you want to come back and talk about mining, that would be great. All right, let me get a snip of this. So that I can compare it. And I will just slide this over here. In the background, there we go. Now let's make the flight sheet. Edit, setup. Oop, not setup. Gotta change the miner first. NB miner, setup, 39.6. Apply changes. Update. And I always just create a new flight sheet. So if I need to go back to LOL miner, I don't have to change it. I will be able to more easily go back. All right, let's see what we got. So right now we're downloading the new miner. So this is one thing that you do not have to update Hive in order to get a new miner. You just have to make sure that you refresh the screen when you're selecting the miner, and don't select the latest, select which one you actually want, and which can get you a newer version. If you just say the latest, it's going to take the latest of what you have installed. So let's see what we got. So this obviously would take a little bit, but let's see how many people we got watching right now. Sure, it's probably not too many. It's a Thursday night, usually a pretty slow night for streams. I'm sure that's going to take a little while for them to kind of figure things out. Let's see. That's not what I wanted. Ah, we got 11 people watching. Cool. I got a few people. That's a good thing. Very good thing. Let's see. Oh, yeah, I should have done that. Oh, well. Such is life. And actually, it's interesting you mentioned that. Well, let's see if JTree comes back and behaves. If he doesn't, then I will hide him. So, hey, Thomas O. Good to see you. Okay, well, like I said, appreciate you sticking around, Jay. All right, let's see. Whoa, we do have some higher hash rates. So if we look at where we were, Sorry, hang on a second. Let me get that snip. We were at just below like 56.5 to 57 on the 3070 Ti's. And on the 3060 Ti's, we're anywhere from about 42.9 to 43.2. And you know, it is interesting. You did mention Poolside, because I have noticed LOL miner does really well Poolside. So yeah, any of these miners can say, you know, whatever they want, they think the hash rate is, but what really matters is the actual Poolside. So yeah, this is looking pretty good. Got a couple over 58, a couple that are close to 58. So I don't know if it's it's not a full 3% or anything, but it is definitely an increase in the reported hash rate. Should have increased the actual. Yeah, all of them are TIs. So I've got 3060 Ti's and 3070 Ti's. I actually have a 3070 in the computer I'm working on now, and I'm going to try doing some testing on that eventually, but doing that in a stream is not usually very effective. One of the things I found with LHR cards is that you kind of have to let it be when it's doing its tuning, not do anything that's going to pull any resources away from the GPU. Otherwise, it doesn't really know what to do, because all the programming is done on a card that's only used for mining. So yeah, I was having some problems last night when I was trying to, okay, well, while that thing's trying to figure things out, I'm going to do all these other things. No, that didn't work. I just moved this 3070. I have a 3070 for the Win 3 that I just moved into my computer, because actually, technically my wife built a computer for herself, and then I put the 3060 in her computer, which is mining away in her computer now. But let's see. I'm kind of curious if I change some of the overclocks, because I have pretty conservative overclocks with only 2600 on the mem. Definitely kind of curious if I can push the limits a little bit here. Actually, let's see. Do not have any rejected, which is good. So, okay, let me check out the chat here. So yeah, as Anonymous Miner said, I should have taken a snap Poolside. Unfortunately, I didn't think to do that, but definitely a good point. Let's see. Yeah, actually, these three 3060 Ti's, Philippe, also have Hynix memory. They're the EVGA ones, but they do also have Hynix memory. So I am at, well, actually over 45 now. Whoa, definitely took a jump. Look at that. That was over 60. Wow, we're going to let this run. That's impressive. That's really impressive. Wow. All right, well, let's let this thing go. Sorry, let me get back to where I was. Yeah, so typically I was getting, like I said, 42 to 43 with LOL miner. But now it looks like I'm getting much better than that, which I like. So on mine, I'm with LHR, I'm using locked core clock. And I've been playing around with that a little bit to try to get the powers down a bit. But yeah, actually, let's take a look to see if the powers are improved at all. Well, they're kind of, you can tell they're still up and down. I think when the power goes up, that's when the hash rate goes up, and when the powers come down, so it's in essence, it's fooling the limiter by varying the load. I'm pretty sure that's part of what they're trying to do here. But let's see if any of this improves or if it just kind of levels out at a lower level. Like I said, I don't know if you guys saw it, but it was at 60 on the 3070 Ti's and over 45 on the 3060 Ti's. So I'll have to take a look. All right, let me see what else you guys are saying in the chat. Yeah, 2060s, there's no nerf. So they're going to run however they're going to run. There's no fooling them or anything like that. They're easy to overclock. I don't remember what exactly you can get on those. I think it's upper 30s, I think, on a 2060. But again, not positive about that. Hey, Golden Wolf, good to see you. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate it. Yeah, the version 1 3060s, you can run the 4070.05. That's actually, like I just mentioned, I put 3060 in my wife's computer. That is a version 1, and I do have 4070.05 installed on that computer for the driver. So yeah, that one's getting about 48.9 megahash. The one in the basement will get 49.8, but that one, for whatever reason, I didn't win the Silicon lottery on that one. Let's see. Yes, it is still adjusting. Yep, gotta let it dial in. I agree. Yeah, I do like how LOL miners just kind of goes and just stays. You know, once it's locked in, it just keeps going and it's reliable. A lot of times what some of these will do is they'll push things too far, and so they're constantly pushing, and then the lock will kick in, and then there's no hash, and so while it looks good for a little bit of time, the overall effective hash rate at the pool is less because you have so much time that it isn't really hashing because the lock kicked in. So that's why I'm kind of curious to see what happens here. I'll probably let this run at least overnight and see what the pool hash rate ends up being. Let's see here. Yeah, definitely consumption's a bit high. With LOL miner, I did try running a little bit lower with a lower locked core clock, but I wanted the higher hash rate. So it basically brought the hash rates down, you know, anywhere between 1 and 3, depending on how far I brought down the locked core clock. But yeah, I am able to run them a lot less. But this actually isn't too bad. On my previous one, like my screenshot, my 3070 Ti's were running anywhere from 172 watts up to 198 watts. And again, that power fluctuates. So they were all at different states of that power fluctuation, but everything was running below 200 watts. Yeah. And LHR cards aren't going to be your most efficient cards. If we could run them at full pop, yeah, then they would be really efficient, but we're not there yet. And right now, I wouldn't even call this a breaking of LHR. This is more like, and I was talking to Tech Shinji about this the other night, it's mitigation is what it is. It's learning how it works and working within the bounds given, as opposed to breaking it or figuring out a way to get completely around it. You're not going around it, you're going through it right now, is basically the way this is working. So yeah, so far on pool, you know, it's 420 is what the actual reported hash rate is, but my on pool is 458, and 435 if you look at the total amount of time I've been online with it. But yeah, that's obviously a very short period of time, so we'll have to see what it is like over time. So let's see. I mean, it's definitely a little bit higher. I don't know how much higher this will end up being. I think the biggest thing, I may end up restarting this and seeing if I can get a report. In fact, let me take a look at this. So the miners report the hash rate in different ways, and some of them report like kind of more instantaneous, while others will report like the 60-second average. And the 60-second average is good because you're going to know which, especially in this case where the powers are going up and down and the hash rate is going up and down as part of the algorithm, that it's doing. It's good that that if you have the 60-second average, but like I said, in this case, I'm not sure what it is. I'm gonna actually download this. I need it anyway for my computer. Show in folder. Let's take this over here. Unzip it. And let's pull out the README. Come on. All right. Let's see. README. Oop, too far. Oh, let's see if this gives me what I'm looking for. I'm looking to see if there's a way to, like I said, change the average hash rate, or what it's calculating for the average hash rate, as well as increasing the reporting time, so that I can see it come up a bit more often. I know there's usually a way to do it, but let's see. Any of you guys know how to do it? Let me take a look. Hey, MC, how's it going? Thanks for joining in. I appreciate it. I see Philippe, you say yours is running at 127. Which one are you talking about? Which card? Yeah, Gminer worked well for me as well. But again, I don't know if it was the way it was operating or if it was the way it was reporting. But LOL miner just seemed more consistent. But again, it could be just the fact that LOL miner was reporting an average while Gminer was reporting like the 3-second average or something like that. I haven't done enough research to know exactly which one it is, but I have a feeling that that's more the reason why it appears that LOL miner is more steady, while Gminer specifically seems to jump around quite a bit. I tried that the dual mining with T-Rex Matador. Again, thanks for showing up too. At the time when I was testing it, it seemed really cool and seemed to work well. The problem is that was right about the time that Ergo profitability started to take a dive, and the value of Ergo started going down. So I realized that Ethereum was more profitable, so I switched back over to Ethereum. So I tried it for a bit, seemed to work well. It's a great concept, but you need to have cards that are going to be, you need things that are going to be more profitable for both. Yeah. So I didn't try it with Raven, but right now that probably would be an interesting combination with where Raven is right now, especially with the 3070 Ti. Yeah, we'll never get 100% unless somebody actually figures out a way around it. Like I said, right now we're just brute forcing the thing and going through it. We're like opening up a little push in the wall, but we're not going to break through it. All right, let's see. Sorry, I'm checking the rest of the chat. All right, got all the way through the chat. All right, well, again, thank you guys for joining me. I appreciate it. Let's get back to what I was talking about with the README file. And let me see if there is anything in here. Huh, interesting. Web monitor. Didn't even know that NB Miner had a web monitor. I knew that T-Rex did. This looks like it's all about the JSON and the change log. Okay, I am not seeing anywhere in here that you can change anything about the reporting. That seems awfully weird. Most of the other ones will allow you to change how things are reported, but I am not seeing that in the command line at all. Huh, interesting. Bummer. Definitely a bummer. Okay, well, let me check the other README file. They actually have two of them. I don't think this one's just in a different language. Yeah, just in a different language. That's what I thought. All right, well, it is what it is. And I'll have to check out that web monitor. Inside the monitor, there's actually a link to the web monitor that you can do. So if once I get it up running on Windows, I'll be able to try that out. Interesting. Huh. Okay. Alrighty, back to seeing where we're at with the speed. So yeah, it looks like I've gained approximately 1 mega hash. And I have to say I'm happy with the Poolside, or what at least what they're reporting is the Poolside, 429 on a hash rate of 420. The 10 minutes even better at 514. But again, that could change over time. And like I said before, I was between 42.9 and 43.2. And I've definitely gained some hash rate on that as well. Let's see what's actually being reported. And let me make sure. Yeah, I guess I have to do a little bit of research to see, like I said, how they're actually reporting that hash rate. It looks fairly steady. We definitely saw some fluctuations at the beginning, and I believe those fluctuations are still occurring. It's just the fact that it's taking an average, and so the longer the thing runs, let's say if it was doing a 5-minute average, for example, or even a 1-minute average, the longer it runs, and once it syncs up, you're going to have a more slow change in the actual hash rate itself. All right, well, let's start playing around with some overclocks and see what we can do. I am running it with absolute core clock and memory clock. So let me go back over here. I'm going to mess only with one of them. And let's take the first one just because. So this one is actually a 3070 Ti for the Win 3. So any of the ones where it says that 325 at the end, those are for the Win 3 3070 Ti's. Anywhere where you see the 300 at the end, and I'm sorry if it triggers anybody that my cards are mixed matched order. Anyway, anywhere where the 300 is at the end, those are the XC3 3070 Ti's. And then all the 3060 Ti's are all the EVGA XC, just XC. So it's the 2-fan version of the 3060 Ti, but of course LHR. So let's mess around with this a little bit. Let's first off, let's try bringing the core clock down a bit. See if we can, actually, if I'm just messing with one, I don't need to do that. Let's see if I bring it down to 1250. Let's see what it does. And most LHR mining programs tell you do not change the overclocks after it's been optimized, because it could change that optimization. So it'll be interesting to see what happens when we make this change. Let's take a look. So right now it's 58, which it has not taken into account. If you notice, the core clock still says 1395. So let's take a look. While we're waiting for that, see what else anybody had to say. Well, J-Tree, thanks for stopping by. I appreciate it. Yeah, that would be really cool if all it took was taking a resistor or something off. This is mostly software. It's going to be something hard coded in the BIOS, and the BIOS for NVIDIA is pretty locked down. That's why I was actually pretty excited when I heard that that NVIDIA was unlocking that, where they were making BIOS editor available. I don't remember what exactly that was, but that was interesting. There was some story about it, but I didn't really look too much into it because it was extremely limited from what I understood. So, at any rate, hi, Dad. Hi, Pearl. Um, and no, Pearl is not my daughter or son. Um, that would be a different YouTuber and Twitter person. Not Twitter, Twitch person. Yeah, it's all BIOS driver software, not actually hardware. That is correct. Yes, and it would be cool if that was all it took. Well, good morning to you in Indonesia. There's one Asian country I've never been to. My dad. And I have a son, but that is not my Alex Zan is not my son. All right, let's see where, oh, I missed it. Dang it. Well, let's go over here. It should have updated by now. Actually, interestingly enough, looks like it may have gone up possibly or gone down marginally. At the time when I made the change, it was actually just above 58. Now it is less than the other 5700 XTs, but I mean, we were up closer to around 190, upper 190s at the peak, and it looks like now it peaks at more like 180. So we're saving 10% power with very little change in hash rate. So yeah, that's a good trade-off. That's a very good trade-off. Yeah, I'm running very similarly to what I was running prior to this. I was in the 1320 to 1320 to 1330 range on the overall power. Oh, it's still heading up to 191 even at the 1250 core. So maybe I dropped 7 or 8 watts with that change. Interesting. All right, well let's try taking it down a bit more. Actually, before I do that, let's double check. Yeah, okay. It is reporting that the core clock did change. So I wanted to make sure that the miner wasn't taking control of the core clock as part of the optimization. So that's why I wanted to make sure of that. So let's try lowering it even further. Let's lower it down to 1100. No, I am not a vampire. Although I probably won't be having this stream too long because I do need some sleep. Although I am happy to state I am almost positive I will not have to work on Saturday. So very happy about that. So thanks for joining us, ABMNS production. How do you pronounce that? Is that a word or is it just ABMNS? Oh, it was 58.45 before, so it has lowered from that. Still not a bad trade-off if you look at, well, look at this 3070 Ti to this 3070, 1100 to 1400. Now, sorry, not 1100 to, oh, interesting. This one was already at 1350. But hey, it might be a pretty nice power savings. So let's see here. I don't have a 3080 Ti, so I do not know. I have seen that, but I don't know what I can't. I haven't personally done that because I don't have a 3080 Ti. Cedric. Oh, call ABNS production Cedric. Got it. Really? All right, Philippe. I will test that out. I appreciate the heads up. I have to admit, I've been like super busy in my personal life that I've been adding some cards, but I have not been fine tuning my hash rate like I usually do. So let's start messing with this one then. What should I take it down to, Philippe? How far down? All the way down to 800? 1,000? What do you think? 945? Done. Unfortunately, that memory clock, that's pretty much what I'm probably going to be able to max out at, this damn Hynix memory. Not so fun. But let's try that one. So we're at 43.24. Let's see where we end up. I am liking this NB miner though. I have a feeling that all these changes will, what was it again? It already changed. 43.24 versus 42.6. And what did my power go from? No, that went down. But wow, the power is way down. Let's take a look. See what it comes up next go around. That's not going to fly. 33.76. No. Unless you're thinking it just needs to retrain, but it pretty much set at 70. Well, actually, does it have the LHR? So I'll have to wait for it to come back around. I'm actually going to raise this so I can see a little bit more of this. You guys will have the top cut off, but that's all right. So yeah, 111 is 33.48. Multiplier is 92. Actually, the efficiency is actually lower now, not higher, even though it's at a much lower power. So I'm definitely going to have to raise that. So that seems to be a bit too far for my cards. So let me raise it up to like 1100 and see where we end up. And I know they're supposed to be in multipliers of 15, but it doesn't hurt that way. All right, let's see. Oh, huh. Great minds think alike. I guess, Philippe. You said set to 1100. Well, Pearl, I'm testing because there's a new revision, 39.6 of NB Miner. And Son of a Tech did a quick video on it and said, you know, hey, I was a big proponent of LOL Miner and now my mind has changed. NB Miner is now the new latest king of LHR mining. So I've always liked NB Miner since they started doing the LHR breaking of it or mitigation of it. It's done really, really well for me on like my 3070. My 3070, it was a very difficult card to get working with Ergo at any reasonable hash rate. I can only get it going at like 115 to 120 with all the tweaking in the world. And then when I put it on NB Miner, it was like voila, went to like 143. So, oh, nice. 88 mega hash. Any tips or tricks, Red Fox, when you were fine tuning it? All right, it does not look like 1100 is enough. I generally don't pay much attention to the dev fee. Not that you shouldn't, everybody should, but no, I actually don't know if it's more. I missed it again. I keep looking up at the exact wrong time. Let's see here. It's still really low. I'm probably going to have to up that even more. Yeah, these 3060 Ti cards with the Hynix memory, not a huge fan. So yeah, it's still, although that doesn't even look like it's, why is that way low? Oh, that's right, because I do have the clocks a lot lower on those, because they won't go higher than that. All right, let's take a look. Let me look to see what is being said. Yeah, 1395. Yeah, I'll give that a shot. Yeah, unfortunately, like I said, I wish I could run these a little bit less. Let me take a look. I think, do I have any of my, no, all my 3060s were at 1400. I'm still going to try something less. Let's try 1250. Split the difference and see if we can get a little bit better. A little bit closer. Take a look at that. I am surprised that 1100, it didn't even flinch. Let's take this down to 1000. Because, I mean, one thing about Ethereum is that there's a point at which it just falls off a cliff. And it's a matter of finding where that cliff is and getting close to it. Not super close where you're going to be unstable, but close enough where you enjoy the view, shall we say. All right, let's see what everybody's saying in the chat. Yeah, they do own it. Yeah, dial in the absolute core clock. Yeah, that's what I was figuring. Like I said, I haven't played with it much, but definitely starting to. Yeah, I've got, Philippe, I've got 4 rigs on Hive, and then I've got 3 computers with 1 GPU each that I have mining as well, but those are all Windows. Just find that Hive is way, way more reliable. Don't have to worry about it rebooting and not restarting the miner. All right, let's see. Well, it kicked back up at 1250. Not all the way back up on that, but let's see. 40.40. Looks like that might be as far as it goes. Oh, one thing, Red Fox, I did participate in the changeover with FearoPow and could not get it to work using the commands in the miner. I ended up using the Hive scheduling command. Actually had Big Wooly help me with that feature. I wasn't sure how to use it, but yeah, had a tag that was specific to that rig which I wanted to switch over, and a scheduler based upon that, and it worked like a charm. So it was really good, and so switched over right away. In fact, set my alarm for 3 minutes before the switchover. Saw that my miner was basically dead when I finally looked at it. But then right after that, I basically, by the time I looked at it, it was at the switchover time. And as soon as it switched over, it popped up, started getting shares and such. So, yeah, it was pretty cool to participate in that, even though wasn't able to really do much except be awake for like 5 or 10 minutes and then go right back to sleep. So I was on Panda stream for a little bit, chatting a little bit there. Alrighty, let me see if there's something between 1250 and 1400. Let's try 1350. I don't know. Oh, that's right. You don't have the EVGA cards, Red Fox. I'm curious as to what some of your overclocks might have been on 3060 Ti's and 3070 Ti's. At 1,000, this really hasn't even budged. But yet I am saving power. So definitely like that. All right, let's see. Oh, you were awake? Did you set an alarm, Red Fox? Let's see. Or did you just do it in the morning? Let's see. Just looking to see what else. Looks like you guys are chatting amongst yourselves, which is great. Good to see that. Let's take a look at that. Windows 10 Spectre Ghost Edition. I had never heard of that. I mean, I've heard of ways of setting up, Windows so that it doesn't automatically update and all those kinds of things. So, make it light so it's not doing a lot of stuff in the background that can cause problems. Well, it's getting closer, but it looks like 1400 is kind of the magic number still. But, well, I don't know. I like the higher hash rate. I just like the higher hash rate. Nothing wrong with that, even though it's an extra, let's see, 8% for a 2% gain. In fact, if you take a look, so this one's at 332, and the other two 3068 Ti's are at 308 efficiency. So this one is actually at a more efficient rate than the other two. Well, considering it's a little warm, I think I will set the others to that as well. So 1350. And I should be able to start working these down quite a bit, I would hope. Let me change each of these. I'm going to change this one to 900. And then each of these to 1350. All right. We'll see where that goes to. Alrighty. Let's see what else you guys are saying over here. And like I said, I may try to kick up the memory on the previous miner I was using, which was LOL miner. I could not really get much above this 2600 on the 3070 Ti's. So that's why they're all set at 2600. But hey, let's see. Give it a shot, work it up gradually, and see if we can get a little bit higher hash rate without kicking in the limiter. Let's go back to the... Yeah, actually these are doing pretty well. And although those power rates haven't really changed much. Let me wait till that thing comes up one more time. So one of the things I wish Hive allowed is a way of being able to scroll the command window, but there is not a way, unfortunately. But I like how stable it is, that's for sure. Okay. All right, let's take a look here. this appears to still be good at 900. I'm going to change the rest of these to 900 and see how we do, because kind of liking it. Might be able to get some temperatures down a bit. And that's 3070 Ti as well. That's 3060, 3060, 3070. All right. And actually, because I have been adding a decent number of cards in the basement, and definitely has been heating up a bit more. It's definitely heating the house, which isn't bad heading into winter. But even with all that, I've been doing some things with ventilation in the basement with the help of my wife. We opened up a couple of the window wells so that we get some better air circulation down there. I actually just installed a 20-inch box fan blowing out one of the windows. It is a window well, so it is blowing into the wall, blowing through a screen into the wall of the window well. But if you go outside, you can very easily feel the heat coming out. So it is doing its job, maybe not as efficiently as if it was blowing straight out a window, but still, I think as we head into winter and we start getting below freezing, I think it's going to really be a nice temperature down there as opposed to being hot all the time. Definitely we'll have to rethink some things for next summer. That's for sure. Obviously, next summer, who knows what's going to happen. All right, let's see what else is going on in the chat. So yeah, for some people, efficiency is super, super important. For me, not so much, because mine is about 9.5 kilowatts, kilowatt hours, 9 cents per kilowatt hour, or right about that. I have variable rate electricity, which means at night it is super cheap, and during the day it's not. But more of the time it's less expensive, so that overall I save about 25% over what a standard rate would be. The standard rate in the Chicago area of Illinois is like 12.7 when you add in all the taxes and everything, and that's distribution as well as the cost of the supply plus the taxes. And my all-in rate is at just over 9 cents. So yeah, I'm pretty lucky as far as that goes. And in some months, really lucky. That's for sure. Yeah, well, I like what's in my pocket. Hey, wait a minute. Hang on a second, Cedric. How many people out there are mining with solar on their houses? I have solar. I have 6 kilowatts of solar. So yes, I do think about the planet. And on a hot, sunny day in the summer, yeah, it works great because it does completely power my mining. So yes, I do value the environment as well. Oh, cool, Miguel. Yeah, I've had it for about a little over 2 years now. I didn't initially get it because of mining. I got it because it was going to basically power my entire house for the year. Basically, it would gain credits because I have net metering, so I would gain credits in the summer and then use those credits in the winter to help pay for electricity. So, but it didn't quite work out that way since I'm using a lot of energy for mining. So it's fine. But it actually really helps with the variable rate, because during the middle of the day when cost of electricity is highest, I'm generating electricity for myself. So my energy use is much smaller on a sunny day during the middle of the day than it would be for somebody that wasn't. So I pay for electricity during times where the cost of electricity is less. I do know one person in particular that has done this in the past and actually got taken off of the variable rate program as a result. But they were using a Powerwall to power their or to charge their Powerwall overnight when the cost of electricity was low, and then use that power during the day when the cost of electricity was high. And it saved them a lot of money, but they didn't like it. They took him off, and now recently I've put him back on, or allowed him to go back on the program with no word said about what he was doing before. So anyway, I thought that was pretty interesting. All right, so let's see. Well, it doesn't appear. Looks like it's come down a little bit, a little bit below 58, but my power is much less. I mean, I was at like 1330 and now I'm at 1262. So that's a significant savings. That's about 90 watts. So we're talking 7%. I'm doing my math in my head right, approximately. So that's a pretty good savings on power with very minimal change to the actual hash rate. In fact, that might have just been the low point of the hash rate, because now it's jumping back up again. Interesting. Very interesting. Well, let's try moving one of them down a bit more. Wait a minute. Powerwalls aren't allowed in New York City? What is the point of that? Holy cow. You had 3 proposals. Yeah, it would not be worth saving $67 monthly for a 33,000. So my net all in on my system, because I had incentives, and there's a lot of incentive programs in the US. And so the cost of my total system was like $7,500, and it saved me about $95 a month. So the payback was still pretty long. So it was done more for it was just something I wanted to do, but I knew it would eventually save us money. And the cost and the savings of it helps pay for a loan if you were going to do it that way. So I looked at it that way, going, well, I could just do a 10-year loan and break even, which is what a lot of people do. And then after that, then you're making money. But I didn't end up doing it that way. I did different types of short-term financing and then paid it off when I could. So mine's actually paid off. So everything I get from it is a savings, which is good. But again, you work it out, $7,500 saves me about $95 a month. Yeah, it's a pretty quick payback, actually, like 7 years or so. So a Powerwall, Cedric, you're not familiar with what a Powerwall is? Yeah, Powerwall is a battery. It's Tesla calls them Powerwalls. But it's just basically a battery that gets mounted to a wall. So it's like a vertical battery. So, okay. Yeah, not just Tesla. There's other ones. You made one? Oh, that's right. You had a video on that, didn't you? Yeah, let me know if you had a video on it. Let's see here. How do I do this? Anonymous, I am going to make you a mod. If you want to post your link to that video where I think you have one. Correct me if I'm wrong. But if you do and you want to post your video, feel free. All right, back to the miner. Let's see if we can push this down even a little bit more. Let's move this to, I don't know, let's go to 800. Let's see what happens at 800. I'll just do one and then do more if it works. But I am really liking this NB miner. Definitely a higher hash rate, no question. And a lower power. So that's still one is showing 900 at 58. Yeah, this is nice. Oh, I think that broke it. A little too far off the cliff with 800. Let's see where it ends up. Big Wooly, who allowed you in here? No coming in and starting trouble. Do you understand me, young man? Oh, okay. Well, we'd definitely be interested to see that video. There is Anonymous Miner. Are you familiar with Undecided? Makes a lot of really interesting videos about renewable energy, new technologies, generally mainly about, green, being green, but it's very unbiased. It's not like it's all, you know, you know, daisies and wonderful things. He points out the problems, and when I remember watching the thing about batteries and he was talking about lithium mining, and he goes through all how horrible that is for the planet. But he also talks about the fact that yes, many great technologies started out in very horrible ways, and then people figured out a way to get around, not to get around, but to improve the way things are done so that they're not horrible. But anyway, there was and he actually just recently did a video on like 5 things that that people were like way against. Like one of the ones I remember was Tesla. And he was arguing with Edison. Edison wanted to be DC power. He was like, oh, this AC stuff, it's going to kill people. It's going to electric chair, da 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 da. Went on and on and on and on and on about it. And Tesla just basically stayed the course. And look at it now. Everybody has AC power. Nobody has DC power because you can't have it run long distances like you can AC power. So, but I mean, Edison had all the popularity and the clout behind him, but yet Tesla still made it work. But anyway, he has some really great videos. So if anybody wants to check him out, Undecided. I got no affiliation. He doesn't know who the hell I even am. At least I don't think he does. But absolutely phenomenal videos, well produced. Does 1 video a week, but check him out. All right, let's see here. Question for the group. Why is it that no one streaming uses battery backups, UPS, to protect their investment from surges? That is an excellent question. Let's just say we're gamblers, because that's really what it comes down to. We're gambling that we're not going to get struck by lightning. That's what it is. I mean, in my many years of living at this house, our house has been struck by lightning once, or nearby once. It didn't actually strike the house, but it struck close enough to send a surge into the house that was so strong that it blew one of the TVs. Can't even imagine what that would do to my investment in GPUs. But thanks. Now I'm not gonna be able to sleep at night. Really appreciate that, Manador. Thank you very much. Why did you have to bring that up? Just kidding. It's a good point. It's a very good point. I know that some people probably do, but they don't talk about it. I think that's probably the best way of saying it. Now we do have surge protectors. So there's that. So that should protect us to a certain extent. Maybe not as much as a UPS would, but as far as a UPS goes, which, as far as keeping things running when you get a power outage, and God, the last time I had a power outage was the beginning of this year, but prior to that, I hadn't had one for a few years. The cost of a UPS where I'm at, as far as keeping my stuff running when the power goes out, is just not financially a good decision, because the cost of it won't pay off. You're not going to run into enough power outages where you're going to be mining enough stuff to pay for that UPS. So Anyway, let's see here. Sorry, I'm getting behind here. Let's see here. Yeah, check them out. Look at ETH price. Okay, let's go to CoinDesk or CoinMarketCap. That works. Let's do ETH. Oh, wow. It made it over 4,300. Not even over 4,300, but 4,350. Yeah. It's what's in, oh wow, and it just keeps going. Interestingly enough, yeah, I have a payout that's waiting to be paid out. I've got my gas set at 60, which usually triggers it within 24 hours of when I reach that point. Yeah, we haven't been anywhere near that gas fee except for once, which last I saw was at like 64. I missed it by 4. But anyway, that's fine. It just keeps accumulating. Got no worries there. But that is nice to see us heading back north again. Yeah, I'm kind of curious. I didn't see what ADA was doing. I actually, I had sold some stuff and then didn't do too much reinvesting. I usually pull more out periodically. And when the market took a turn, I didn't take any out. I let it come back before I started pulling some out. So I had some amounts that I'd been wanting to pull out for quite some time. And so I took this as an opportunity to, when the market went back up, to pull some money out of my mining profits. Alrighty, so yeah, that definitely is nice. So I appreciate you pointing that out. Yeah, it has already hit an all-time high, not even about to. And hopefully we'll start seeing some increases in ADA. I bought some ADA at $1.95 earlier today, so it's up. Not complaining at all. Yeah, I was wondering about that as I started going like, well, wait a minute, isn't that what the surge protectors are for? Plus the fact is that if you get hit with a strong enough lightning strike, you need a really, really top-notch surge protector that is going to react extremely quickly and not allow anything to pass. And that stuff's really expensive to get that good. Let's see here. Yep, just hit new all-time high. See that? Well, I didn't see what he retracted. Yeah, I'm sitting here ignoring everything and just talking. Yeah, it'd be nice. It'd be cool to see if we went up to 5,000. That would definitely be nice. Yeah, my payout's definitely going to be delayed, but I'm good with that. Keep going, baby. Keep going. Yeah, your gas has been set at 85 all day and no go. Yeah, I hear you there. Oh, the gas is at 365. Oh, for 365. Got it. Well, here, let me go back to ETH. It's a heck of a lot more interesting than that. That's for sure. Yeah, 4350. Well, if you want CoinGecko, I can go to CoinGecko. If that's what the crowd wants. Ooh, yeah, I like that. That looks better. 4,375. Let's see what else is going on in the chat. 40 Gwei holding strong. Yeah. Yeah, I got mine set at 60 because I kind of like getting them a little bit more regular than that. 40 Gwei, you can certainly definitely get that about maybe twice a month. It gets down that low. So yeah, Miguel, that's like the question that gets asked all the time. What are we going to mine after Ethereum? What are we going to do after proof of stake? By the way, it's not ETH 2.0 that we're worried about. It's the merge, which is proof of stake. Proof of stake. When they go proof of stake, the people that are staking their coins still can't get their money out because they are on what was originally called ETH 2.0. They are technically on a different coin, and there's no way back yet. And when they do the merge, there still won't be a way back yet. That will be the next step after the merge. They have prioritized that, but still no way to get your money back. So I did have somebody approach me about, hey, maybe we should get like a staking pool to get up to that 32 ETH. And I was like, nope, not interested. I do not want to go on a one-way trip with having no idea when I can return. So no thanks. So anyway, so alrighty, let's see what else we have going on. Yeah, I miss Savage Mine. He was the honestly my intro into, I think I was watching Savage Mine even before I watched Red Panda. I think it went Savage Mine, Serpent, and then Red Panda was the order in which I went. I think I was kind of introduced. When I say introduced, I mean made aware of Serpent as a result of Savage, because again, we all know they were friends. So got introduced that way, and then actually I think because what Savage Mind used to do is he used to have after his Friday night streams, he would invite people to play poker, and I thought that was really cool. And so I would come and play poker. So I'd come play poker with these guys that are YouTubers and didn't know me from Adam, and just started getting to know them and started playing, and it was a good time. And Red Panda would show up there too every once in a while, if I remember correctly, along with a few others. I think Nemesis showed up once or twice. Crypto Mikkel would show up, I believe. Anyway, it was definitely a good time. I miss those simple times when things weren't quite so crazy. I mean, obviously not as profitable, but yeah, everybody was just there to have a good time and get to know one another and whatever. I don't know. I definitely miss him. He was kind of like my intro into this community, and was very open, and yeah, had some great conversations with him. We used to talk about ETH, especially when things were very confusing, especially with like MEV and things like that. So we would talk about that and what it meant and what was going on and all that kind of stuff. So, basically it was, I didn't really talk much to BBT about it. Well, I didn't really talk to him at all about it. But it was basically BBT, Savage Mind, and myself that were talking, although I wasn't much of a YouTuber at the time. I'm still not much of a YouTuber because I don't put out enough content. But anyway, yeah, I definitely miss him. He is sorely missed. So I'm getting now a mix between 43.5 and 44.2 on your 3060 Ti's now. But you're not setting absolute core clock. Interesting. Now, I haven't researched. So NB Miner, you can't set core clock, can you? Huh. Yeah, interesting. Yeah, funny thing about it is on my non-LHR cards, I don't use absolute core clock. I'm kind of like, I don't know, old school. If it ain't broke, don't fix it type of thing. And most of my cards are 3060 Ti's, and those are not the ones where you get a big bang for the buck when you change to absolute core clock. It's the higher ones. It's 3070s, 3080s, 3090s are the ones where you get that much greater benefit of power savings when you do absolute core clock. So I have tuned them. Yeah, I pretty much tuned them about as good as I could get. We went below. Here, let me get back to it. Here, let me go over here actually. So we went below 1350, and they kind of fell off a cliff. So 1350 is pretty much as low as I can go on these cards. And I've tried going above 2000 on these cards, and they're just not having it as far as the mem clock. In fact, this one was crashing my rig to the point where it wouldn't restart. So I lowered it to 1900 from 2000 and everything ran stable. So I'm just going to leave that at 1900 instead of worrying about whether or not my rig is going to crash. And I'm going to have to send my wife downstairs when I'm at work to turn the power supplies off and back on. I'm running 240 volt power, so I don't have any smart switches on my rigs right now. I did initially do that when I was running 120 volt, but I haven't found a smart switch I'm comfortable with on 240 yet. Anyway, so basically it was all about tuning the so let me put this one actually up to 850. 900 seems like it may be the sweet spot, but let's try moving this one to 850 and see where we end up. And while we're waiting for that, let's see. Well, my OC settings should be on screen. You should be able to see the ones at the outside. In fact, let me pull up my stream. Yeah, you can see them on the stream. So basically, it's just two settings. When you have absolute core clock, you're setting the core and you're setting the mem. That's it. And then obviously, I'm setting the fan as well, but that really doesn't have as great of an effect, except just keeping the temperatures down. And that's about it. All right, well, let's see if wow, 57.25 there. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, it looks pretty similar, maybe slightly lower. And one of the things as I mentioned, I kind of look at it from the standpoint of you get close to the cliff and then you get a comfortable distance away from it so that you're not on that bleeding edge. All right, let's see here. Like I said, I wish there was a way you could scroll this in Hive, but unfortunately not able to. All right, let's see here. 57.8. I mean, it looks pretty comparable to the other 3070 Ti's. And what I'll probably do is once I kind of settle on what I have, I'm going to restart the miner so that it can restart the optimization and make sure that it runs correctly with the way I have it set. Yeah, see how this is like 58. It just might be on a different part of the cycle. Yeah, I think I'm going to leave them at 900. Yeah, because it looks like this one peaks out at like 57.5, 57.75, that range, and then goes lower, while these other ones peak out at over 58 and then come down to 57.75, 57.5. Like that's their lower end. Yeah, look at that. Just dropped to 54. This one went up to 60. All right, I'm raising that one back up to 900. And I'm going to call that a day. As far as that goes, I'm going to restart the miner so we can see it get back to wherever it's going to be. All right, that's switched. All right. Now let's restart the miner. There we go. Should see it restart here. All right, let me get back to the chat while I'm waiting for that to restart. There it goes. Just saw the Control C. Yeah, there we go. Now it's starting. Alrighty. I have not looked into those power switches, those Shelly switches. I have heard about those. I actually have a link up in my many tabs. If you've ever been in the Noobs channel, you've seen my tabs. And I now have a 1440p monitor, so now I can have even more tabs. That's awesome. Anyway, let's see here. Yeah, so I'll have to, good to know, Philippe, because I know I'll be trying to tune the 3070 in Windows here shortly. So that's definitely good to know. I appreciate that. Yeah, they're Shelly. I remember what they are. I just haven't looked too closely in them at this point. Again, I don't really have... My goal is to make my rigs run stable. And if I can get, so even if I have to have a little bit lower core clock or a little bit lower clocks in general, in order to make them run stable or higher, depending on which we're talking about, I will do that. So I really don't have any problems with any of my rigs. It's very rare. The only reason why I was having some issues is when I forget to save my overclocks when I change between algorithms. Oops. So trying to remember not to do that again. Let's see. Midnight Miner, actually, I'm just testing out the NB Miner 39.6, and it definitely meets its billing. It is definitely, in my opinion, better than LOL Miner. It produces a higher hash rate. My hash rate, like we look at where it is right now, my hash rate on LOL Miner was like 412. So this went up to like 419. So I gained about 7 mega hash. So I got no complaints about that. That might actually be enough I gotta take a look at this now. It might be enough to make it look like on my pool that my reported hash rate now is 1.8. Let me do a refresh and see if it did change it. No, because I just restarted the miner. Let's see here. No, not enough. Not enough yet. Why do I... Wait a minute. What is... Oh, right. Duh. It will be... Well, it'll be close. It'll be really close. Right now, I forgot. Yeah, the computer I'm on now, I stopped the miner, so it looks like my overall hash rate's a little bit lower. Anyway, I want to see it look like it flips just due to a rounding, not error, but because it rounds. Once it gets above 1.75, it'll actually show 1.8 because it only shows it to 1 decimal point. So anyway, this might help me get to where it looks like 1.8, even though it's really not 1.8. All right, let me get back to the chat with you wonderful folks. See what else is going on in the chat, and then we'll be wrapping this up relatively shortly. I've been going about an hour and 20 minutes at this point. Really? Big Wooly, that's your takeaway from the stream? Basically, what Big Wooly's saying is I had the opportunity to talk about something a lot more interesting than NB Miner 39.6, and I didn't take advantage of it. Is that pretty much summarizing it correctly, Big Wooly? Let's see. So Matador, I actually didn't set it. It's the standard is 74. That's what they changed on this one. So I have not tried changing it to anything higher or lower than that. So that's the standard setting at this point. Oh God, not the tabs. Nice, Big Wooly. Oh, and ETH is still going? Oh, well, oh yeah. Might click 4,400. Nice. Um, oh, sure. Yeah, I'll probably be on there. Probably not too long. I got to get some sleep. I didn't get much sleep last night. Did not sleep well. Um, but hey, it's one more thing for thanks for pumping ETH. Yeah, I'll take credit for that. Yeah, so you're welcome. You're welcome. I'll make sure that so what are you telling me? I have to like stream every night to make sure we keep ETH going. Uh, oh, so it did hit 4,400. Nice. Alrighty. Let's see here. Yeah, I know. It's always a catch-22 when you believe in crypto and you're like, just give me like 6 more months to accumulate, then go up. It just doesn't work that way, unfortunately. Cool. Well, I'll look for that video. I'm sure it was with the rest of us, Red Fox. No software reading. Oh, right. Yeah. He would do it at the wall as opposed to what's showing on the miner, because that's historically more accurate on NVIDIA than AMD, but it's still not as accurate as what you're going to read against the wall. Now, the one thing that was brought up, and I'm trying to remember who it was, it might have been Red Panda, because power supplies are efficient, they have different efficiencies depending on how loaded they are. That can have a big effect on what things look like. So somebody who's testing a 2,000 watt power supply with 10 6600 XTs will actually see at the wall a lower per card rate because it's at a more efficient overall power for that power supply. If you're only pulling 100 watts from a 1600 watt power supply, for instance, that's a very inefficient power delivery for that power supply. So, at any rate, it's going to change things a little bit. But when you're splitting hairs on things like a 6600, it can make a big difference as opposed to like a 3080 Ti that is like, well, difference of 10 watts, who cares? It's kind of lost in the noise at that point. Let's see. I think that's about it. Let me see where I'm at now that I did the restart of the miner. Yeah, looking good. Actually, looks like my other cards are doing a little bit better than that first card. But, I was at somewhere around 13.4. I basically saved about 50 watts. And I'm getting a higher hash rate. So I'll take that as a win. I was at 412 and like 1330. And I know that 1291 is going to fluctuate. Now it's 1304. So, but overall, I'm pulling less wattage and I have a higher hash rate. So I'm sold. Absolutely sold. Well, hey, thanks, guys. Well, hang on. Let me just see what else is said here and then we'll wrap this up. Oh, well, thanks, Anonymous Miner. I appreciate it. Yeah, I actually had my name on a list for Space Goats meter, but I think I was about 3 or 4 days too late when he had kind of had enough. I mean, it was taking up a lot of his time. I totally get it. I'm surprised, honestly. I'm surprised that I shouldn't say surprised. Chump Change is very single-minded and very dedicated in everything he does, honestly. So it doesn't surprise me that he's still doing it, the hangers, but I could see how that could at one point become old, shall we say. It's same thing over and over and over again type of thing. And I think that's what kind of got to Space Goats. And me personally, I like doing different things. I couldn't do a manufacturing type environment where I was manufacturing the same thing over and over and over again. That would not be fun for me. So anyway, I respect Chump Change for that, and I respect Space Goat's decision to move on from that. I heard rumors that he was handing it off to somebody. I haven't gotten any details. If anybody has any details, feel free to share them here. But yeah, Anonymous Miner, I appreciate that. Yeah, shoot me a DM. I think that'd be great. Oh, just for the PCI 8-pin. Got it. Got it. Oh, okay. So you can actually like do testing, that type of thing. Cool. Yeah, I don't have a test bench at this point. My plans for a test bench got diverted when I decided that my wife, I think it would be nice to have my wife have a new computer, since she was on a I think 8-year-old Dell laptop, was what she was using. It was getting really dated, really, really dated. And so, oh, by the way, so what I ended up doing was I actually had, so I had a motherboard CPU combo with an i3, had 16 gig of RAM already. So I didn't really have to buy a heck of a lot other than, and I had spare power supplies as well. So I just had to buy the case, and I had to buy a a higher capacity NVMe. And that was it. That's all I needed to buy. And obviously I had a few GPUs, so I could spare one for her. So anyway, so she got a new computer, but then she needed peripherals. So I had remembered that when I got my Razer Mamba, there was a mix-up in the shipping from Amazon. And so the first one was lost. And so they just shipped me a new one. And about 5 days after I received the second shipment, the first shipment showed up. So I called Amazon. I'm an honest guy. Called them up and said, hey, I got the second one. Can you set up the return so I can just drop it off at Kohl's for you? Because that was where the return. They're like, oh, no, you don't have to return that. I'm like, what? They're like, no, you don't have to return it. You can either give it to a friend, or give it to charity, is what they said. Obviously, they don't want to tell you to sell it, because that's not, they don't want you profiting from it. But I thought that was really cool. So I was like, maybe I should sell this. And my wife's like, you know what? You're never going to know when you're going to need it. You're keeping spare parts, just keep it. I'm like, all right, cool. So then when we were going through and figuring out, okay, so now that we did all this, she's got a crappy keyboard and mouse. So then I'm like, wait a minute, we have that mouse. So took out the mouse. She likes the mouse. So that worked out real well. And then I had to find her a nice mechanical keyboard. And I'm going to look to see if it's still available. I'm not going to look there because that will dox me. So let me take a look if it's still available. But EVGA has some nice mechanical keyboards. Z15 was $50. That's an incredible deal. And really? It's even less. Oh no, the renewed ones are less. So yeah, unfortunately it went up. It's still a good deal though at $70. But yeah, they had it at $49.99. I was like, damn, that is cheap. So yeah, so I ended up picking that up for her. So nice inexpensive keyboard. I have a Razer keyboard that I really, really like. It's got the browns on it. So I do really like my keyboard, but her keyboard is really nice. If you like linear switches, it has a great feel to it. Some other linear keyboards that I've like silver type switches, there's not enough tension. It's too easy to push. So there's not any like feel. It's still, it's mechanical, but it's just that, I don't know, it's just too easy to push. This one, you have a nice amount of tension to the keystroke. So anyway, I really like her keyboard. Anyway, let me get back to the chat and then we will wrap this up. I know I've said that a few times here. Let's see. Where did I leave off here? Yeah, I don't know what the 3080 LHR hash rate is. I have not seen anybody do that. I know that the 3080 Ti LHR hash rate that Red Fox had mentioned was around 88. Oh yeah, their next statement was, yeah, Red Fox Crypto reported 88 mega hash on his, yeah. Again, that was 3080 Ti, not 3080, I don't think. Yeah, 3080 Ti. There it is. Yeah, stop talking about Shiba. I still think it's a crock, but it's a crock that a lot of people have made money on. And that would be a lot of people other than me. But anyway, it is what it is. I'm a conservative type of guy that, you know, I like the steady growth, you know, what is, as far as crypto goes, I like the steady growth, the things that are a little bit less risky. Occasionally we'll go out there, you know, like doing the switch over for Firo. Oh, interestingly enough on that, although I think I haven't seen Red Fox comment for a while, so he may be gone. But one of the things that was interesting is, yeah, Bittrex will do this occasionally. Yeah, they put the wallet in maintenance. So right now I've got like, I don't know, a little over, I think about 1.5 Firo that is hanging out on the blockchain because it's got nowhere to go because of that. So once it releases the wallets off of maintenance, I'll then be able to get my deposit from the pool. But until then, yeah, it was just bad timing. It was going to be my last deposit before I switched back over to Ethereum mining, and of course that's the one that has to hang. So anyway, alrighty guys. Well, hey, thanks again for hanging out. It's been fun. I appreciate it. I will be heading over to the Games and Noobs channel over on Misfit Mining if you want to join me there. And again, thanks. Have a good one, guys. Where do I find the off button on this thing? There we go. All right, have a good one.